Anti-ICE protests escalating across the country after President Trump ordered National Guard troops and Marines into Los Angeles to silence protesters and assist with immigration raids. Now, a legal battle has ensued between Trump and California Governor Gavin Newsom, who objected to the troops' presence. A federal judge temporarily halted Trump's order, but a California appeals court paused that ruling, meaning the troops can stay for now. The judicial whiplash raising questions over presidential power and states' and protesters' rights. So here to talk about this entire ongoing situation, we have retired U.S. Marine Colonel and attack helicopter flight leader for 2 Iraq tours, Brian Kennedy. Brian, it is always a pleasure to have you on.
Sydney, good morning. Happy to see you.
So a lower court ruled that the president overstepped his authority when he activated the National Guard troops in California, but an appeals court sided with the president, giving him that control of the National Guard through the weekend, which, you know, the case is still being considered. So what kind of precedent do you think this sets?
Well, there's always a precedent of the National Guard being called out by the governor to help their neighbor, natural disasters, things of that nature. Anytime it's called out for violence or rioting or anything like that is when it starts to get a little bit tricky. So the president can introduce National Guardsmen into a state, but the key word is request. The governor has to request, or it also has to be done in a means by which the president and the governor agree. California, as you know, is a heavily Democratic state. President Trump is a Republican. The president likes to enforce his will against those that are Democrats and those that are of an opposing party to him, and he likes to be seen as the guy in charge and very forceful, and he does so. So in this case, what precedence is there? Well, since he's taken office in his second term, he's really invoked his will in anything he decides to do, by force or by otherwise, or by threats. So this is no different. So him skirting the Posse Comitatus Act, not invoking the Insurrection Act, and introducing National Guard forces that were not specifically called out by Governor Gavin Newsom, political gray area, and it's obviously in the courts as you cite.
So would you say then maybe he jumped the gun with the National Guard, or no, maybe just causing the protest to escalate a little bit because of that, or no?
It could really be seen as a little bit of both. Is it jumping the gun? Yeah, probably, but it's that gray area. It's where he always overwhelms the system. I'm going to act quickly, sue and then settle it in court later on. He's done it with virtually every issue he's addressed since his second inauguration. And also, anytime that the president does anything that's seen as unwelcome, it's going to create more and more opposition, and I think you're probably going to get to that aspect too.
Yeah, what kind of impact also do you think this is having on the troops that are in the middle of the legal back and forth, and even their understanding of their roles here?
Well, virtually none. The military understands its roles very well, and especially the roles between National Guardsmen and in support of states and federal forces under Title 10 of the U.S. Code now working with and for the National Guard. The command and control structure is there, the precedence is there. They're just put into a very difficult situation. And the very difficult situation is, really think about it, we don't like our forces going overseas and serving as peacekeepers. Well, now you have federal forces, United States Marines, from 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines in 29 Palms, California, now standing outside of federal buildings protecting a structure and the people that work there. That's really peacekeeping here on U.S. soil. We're not very good at that, and really you're just going to get whatever optic you want out of that, whether it be strength of introducing these Marines, or whether it's the optic of actual conflict between them and protesters. It's just really a powder keg waiting to blow.
And let's get to these protesters, these No Kings protests going on all around the country. This is amid Trump's military parade. Talk to me about if you think his parade is a way really to honor troops or to kind of show off his military power. What do you think?
Well, it's really both. It was and is the United States Army's birthday on June the 14th. Happy birthday to the United States Army, a day late. But really, I think it was an excuse to really show off a little bit, to really kind of grandstand what he is, and he loves being the commander-in-chief. So with that, this No Kings protest movement, protest and assembly is part of the United States. It's part and parcel of the United States. If people want to protest, whether it's for or against an issue, that's completely healthy within the confines of this republic and this democracy. And I think very wholly that people can and should go out and express their displeasure, their disgust, whatever it is, or their support for the government. They can do that, and I think that it's going to just widen more and more. And I think, from my perspective, having served in uniform and in combat, I think my emotion that I feel is really disgust with the binary nature of the political landscape in the United States. Us, them, black, white, Republican, blue, red, Democrat, whatever. However you want to divide yourself, this country is very willing to divide and put somebody on the other side of the fence. It really doesn't matter what the issue is. But from my standpoint, I served at the pleasure of whatever president it was, and I served for the United States population. Not just the ones I liked, not the ones that looked like me, and not the ones that supported the military. All of them, including the ones that didn't like me, didn't care for me, and I'd never met. Because ultimately, the ultimate DEI, the ultimate experiment of America, actually plays out daily in the United States military.
Wow. Brian Kennedy, we so appreciate you for coming and giving us some insight on this topic. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Great to see you.